So I am, as Lindsay said, from McLean Home Care and Hospice, and just a moment about us is that we have our nurses, our staff, we have, knock on wood, managed to remain healthy through this and serving the community. So I am always looking for different programs to bring to the community that might enhance life and hopefully bring new information to, in this case, local community. So I've been to a number of lectures over the years and presentations about stress management, and I don't think that anything I'll bring here to you today will be brand new. Maybe I will, that would be lovely. But what I'm really hoping for is, even if one person comes up with a new plan as a result of this presentation, I'll be happy, because that's what happened to me. I had been to presentations over the years, and as society has begun to flow more toward self-care and, even from a healthcare vantage point, that we are treating people how they want to be treated as opposed to how we think they should be treated, that it was time to develop something to bring to you all that hopefully will be a case of when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And when the pupil is ready, the teacher will appear. Because that's really what happened to me. I'd heard a lot of different presentations, and it was just one time that it stuck, and it was life-changing. So we'll begin. And so I titled the presentation, Managing Stress Today and Every Day, How to Break the Stress Cycle. But we're not really going to be breaking anything today. We're just going to be instead looking to kind of recreate what we do on a daily basis to hopefully support better habits through our activities. So I'm not sure how many of you were able to print out the handouts, but if you have them, please feel free to go through them with me. And if for some reason you don't have them, I hope you have a piece of paper or a journal just in case something interesting presents itself for you during this. So I'm going to start with an opening poem or a riddle, depending on how you look at it. And if you have the handout, then you know the solution. And if you don't have the handout, perhaps it's more like a riddle to you. So, I am your constant companion. I'm your greatest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I'm completely at your command. Half the things you do, you might as well turn over to me. I will do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed, but you must be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want things done. After a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of great people, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I made them great. Those who are failures, I made them failures. I am not a machine, though I work with the precision of a machine and the intelligence of a human being. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? And the answer is, I am habit. So I thought this was a good starting place for us today to begin this, because it reminds us of how much, although recently we've seen how much is not in our control, I'd like to focus today on how much is in our control. And if you read that through again when you have time, or to really kind of think about it and let it resonate with you, a lot truly is our will and our habit. So at the bottom of the paper, there are a couple of things to remember. That one, it takes 30 days to form a new habit. I think we all probably knew that. 2, it's easier to add a new positive habit than it is to stop an old negative one. So that's why I started with, instead of, even though it's named breaking the stress cycle, it's really not about focusing on, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. What I'd like you to do is think more, I am going to do this. And over time, through attrition, your good positive habits will just replace your old negative habits, just because there's only so much space in anyone's life. The third one is, the rest is up to you. PS, an accountability partner really helps. And I have to say, I will tell you why, but I speak with my therapist every Monday at 4:30 in the afternoon. The reason being is she is my accountability partner. So every Monday and this really, the every week thing has only come about of current situations. And because, of course, the copays have been waived for therapy. And so it's affordable. And every week I pick something new, and I know she's going to ask me about it the following week. And it can be very tiny things. And so as grown as I am, I still like to know that she's going to ask me. And so every time I think of slacking off and just going back to my old ways, I remember that Michelle is going to ask me. And that will often be the catalyst for me to continue with a new positive habit. So the next page we have here is assessing your stress level. And this for me was what catapulted me to find my therapist, is when I attended this, and it was long before we were in a pandemic, but it was really life-changing, was going through this questionnaire for me. So you're going to go through and answer each question yes or no. So number 1, do you take time for yourself each day? 2, are you doing activities you love? 3, do you give daily care and attention to your relationship with your partner, spouse, child, children, or dearest friend? 4, are you making more money than you spend? This is a chronic sticking point for me. 5, do you take time to plan and set intentions every day? Well, I am a planner, so I do usually plan my day, but setting the intention can be a little more spiritual than that if we choose it to be. My intention is to be grateful, or my intention is to be kind to everyone I see. So it can be more than I intend to go out to the garden, take a walk. It can also be a matter of your mindset, setting that intention, kind of sticking with it, and then reminding yourself, gentle reminders when you veer off course, that, oh, that was my intention this morning. Let me approach that a different way. 7, do you schedule open time every day? I have never done this in the whole course of my life, but it is something I do plan on adding to my list of things I'll get to once I've accomplished the things I already prioritized. 7, are you exercising as much as you'd like? Eating as well as you'd like? Do you play daily? And I thought about that, and the answer initially was no, but now I do realize I do play daily. I work in the health center now for this period of time, and they play the most magical music every day out in the big round area, and it's music I grew up on, music my parents grew up on, and it never really repeats itself. And I realize I do play every day because I dance or I sing, and I might look like a nut, but that is playing, and I enjoy it. And it's just something I fall into. It's not necessarily something I have to create, which is nice. So sometimes it's just identifying, do you play? But not in the traditional sense, but yes, the answer can be yes to that. 10, are you taking off at least 1 or 2 full days a week? It doesn't happen that often. 11, you have a place for everything and everything in its place. Here is my answer to that. Ugh. 12, do you have support with tasks you dislike or don't do well? And so that can be support from a spouse, from a child, from a friend, from a relative, or it can be someone you hire. That had actually not occurred to me that I could hire somebody, if it's in my budget, to do something that I really hate doing. And the time I get from that is so much more valuable than pushing through an activity that I just simply can't stand. So here was the really enlightening part for me. So as we go down, through this, they kind of, so you rate your stress level. So if you said more than 10 answers, your answer was yes, you are in primo shape. Keep living your life. You're doing an excellent job. And if you had 7 to 9 correct answers, you're doing well. There's no necessary rush for help or an additional buddy to keep you on your game. That is pretty darn good for this day and age. Probably that is above average still. 4 to 6 yes answers. You know you're stressed out. You know you're doing too much, but have you really done anything about it? So 4 to 6, it's time to talk to somebody and help them, again, prioritize what really needs to be taken care of or what you're just really taking on that could be eliminated or at least reduced. And here's where I fell the first time I took this, was 1 to 3 yes answers, which is just lame. There's no way around it. And when I saw that on a piece of paper, for whatever reason, I knew I was living a very high stress life, but I did not put the numbers together until somebody laid a questionnaire in front of me, and I saw that this was no bueno. And so I did. I found a therapist, and I've been probably going to her or talking with her for maybe the last 9 months. And I'm a solid 7 now. So that's huge that I've been able to work through that many things with her. And many of them like little, but the little things just add up. So we really can't deny that they're important. So the next sheet I have here is, so I developed a stress busting plan because I found myself initially just thinking I had to take care of everything at one time, and then that was overwhelming. So in the stress busting plan, I started with one thing, just one thing I could do that I wasn't doing then, that if I did it on a regular basis would make a tremendous positive difference in my life. And the one answer I came up with, of course, was yoga, which probably is not a surprise, but I do remember a time in my life when I still had little kids and was still doing it myself, that I was doing a ton of yoga and I was never happier. And so I gave myself a little challenge that I would add that to my routine. But of course, adding it means that you get to step 2, which you have to put a plan in place that's doable. So make it doable, make it measurable, and make it happen. So I thought to myself, what is doable? So 10 minutes a day is doable. And I set an alarm, and actually, what they'll say that pretty much everything is, there's an app for that. And there really is. I didn't use an app for this, but if you find it more useful, certainly do that. And it tracks. Like every day you can have something pop up on your phone saying, good job, you did your 5 minutes today, or you did your walk today. And it really becomes kind of a fun game that you play. Like, oh, did I complete my week? And so I did do that. And of course I reported it to Michelle that I was setting this goal for myself, and pleased to ask me about it the following week. And it probably took a good month for me to actually make it doable, measurable, and happen. That was the part. So you have to think about, and truly think about, like, what is it? Like, when would I do it? How would I do it? Where would I do it? And it sounds like an awful lot of thinking to add one little routine to your life, but that's part of it. Because I've been saying for 20 years, I'm adding yoga just kind of on the fly. But until I really formulated a plan to do it, and then you pick another thing at some point once you've mastered that. Like, I'm going to stop procrastinating. That is a huge umbrella. But anytime you remember that you're procrastinating and you don't procrastinate, you start to move toward your goal of not procrastinating. So it's little crumbles of things. It's not, I'm not looking for a paradigm shift here. And the possible results is that you'll be healthier, happier. You'll have an increased sense of connectedness. Your score will go up on the page from the page before. And that is that's the measurable part. Is when you go back, make a couple little changes in your life, and then take the test again and see, honestly, if you, first of all, if the first time you took the test, if you were really thinking of everything. And secondly, to see if you've improved with just tiny little changes. So before we get to our meditation, we have this, I found this article and I found it very interesting and almost like putting in place a plan beforehand. So now we know that, I know back in the day when I initially went to that, or those bunches of seminars that I used the information to come up with my own presentation, because I thought I was stressed then. Well, recent times have shown me and all of us that I had no idea what stress was. Well, I did, but I had no idea how circumstances could suddenly be upon me so quickly, and I was had no plan in place. So I think this is a good thing. We always talk about making a plan, making a living will, writing your will, having the talk, all these things. But what happens when you suddenly have to be able to take care of yourself in terms of your physical health, your mental health, and everything else? Like, do you have a plan in place? So I thought this was very useful for that, to create kind of a stress kit and to have this written down somewhere. Like, who do I turn to for support and comfort? I think we all know more entities, people that we turn to for support and comfort now than we realized probably before the pandemic. Who lets you feel safe and allows you to feel however you feel, whether it's angry or frightened, or these are people and supports that you need to make sure you remember them, because help and support turns up in the most unlikely places sometimes. And who to avoid, like that person that was really a pretty negative force in your life before, but you could balance it with everything else. Well, when things like this happen, you need to cut that negative person. Or, now granted, of course, sometimes it's family and it's not as easy to do that, but to have a little plan in place for you to mitigate the contact. What does my body need to feel nourished, healthy, and strong? Sometimes it's Doritos. Most of the time it's salads and soups and smoothies. But the truth is, sometimes it's just good old-fashioned junk food, or comfort food, depending on who you are. And it's okay. Maybe, as it states here, drink water frequently, practice yoga, get more sleep, take more walks. Even if you pick one of those things and it makes you feel more comforted, sometimes the comfort is better than the thing that comforts us. So if it is meatloaf and mashed potatoes, I think sometimes that's better for your body than a smoothie if you feel like meatloaf and mashed potatoes is what's going to make you feel better. I'm not saying to do it all the time, but what responsibilities do I need to relinquish so I can attend to my needs and feel my feelings? So there may be things you've committed to, and you just have to be honest with the people around you, or the people or places you've committed, and say, hey, I really need to take care of myself. And if they don't understand, well, that's kind of on them. Or what unhealthy or unhelpful strategies or activities do I need to avoid? I've listed some here. Mine would be stop watching TV so late. And I tend to watch things that are suspenseful, so that's not good. So I kind of cut that out for a while. What spiritual practice connects me to God or another higher power I believe in? I did download an app for this called Hallow, and it's just reminding me to be grateful, because believe it or not, sometimes a whole day can go by and I'm thinking about all the awfulness in the world, and I forget to be grateful for the fact that I'm still here, for the fact that the people I love are still here and that we have food. And that seems so like a very low bar, but it's a fantastic place to be. So again, what would bring me comfort right now? It can be anything. Putting comfortable clothes on. Can't really get a massage. Drinking a cup of tea. Again, crumbles down to tiny little things, because moments become hours and hours become days, and days become habit. So you can start with the littlest of things. It doesn't have to be, we're not talking about life-shifting changes here, but they ultimately will be life-shifting changes. How can I express my feelings healthfully? Writing, that does help. If you are patient enough to write, which I find I'm not that patient anymore, but just anything that helps you kind of slow down and hone in on the moment. And if that means writing, or it just means staring into space, or looking at something that you love, that again, small increments that build a life. And what's a healthy distraction when I need to take a break? I do have a guilty pleasure. I like to read magazines. I like Real Simple. So I just go through it and I dream about what color I might paint my room. It probably never happens, but it brings me down to a very fundamental need of mine, and that is to dream. So doing little things like that for yourself can help in that way. Or of course, I do kiss my dog an awful lot, and I'm praying right now that no one can hear her barking in the background. So I would like to end this time together with a 5-minute guided meditation. And I do ask, if I haven't bored you yet, that if you are on this still, to please take a moment to truly, it's only 5 minutes, to truly hunker down, get comfortable, and get into the moment. Because a lot of the things we do that are in our best interest are just fleeting thoughts, or we think they're in our best interest. We're not really buying into the moment and really grasping it. And I think that's when the change happens. So I invite you to please get comfortable and go through this meditation with me. But I'm going to skip this ad first.
Tully, would you like me to stop recording now before you play the music, or did you
Yes.
want to invite any questions from the audience?
Oh, yes, please. Questions.
All right, so the people who have attended, I did allow you to be unmuted if you'd like. So if you have any questions for Tully, please do so. Otherwise, we may be getting to the meditation piece.
No questions about anything? Anything at all?
All right, it looks like you explained everything very well.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna end the recording now, and then you can finish with your last piece. Thank you again.
Thank you.